And welcome. This is Dr. Mike Prince with the Open Mic Broadcast Network. As you know, we're on our volleyball tour of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and we have now gathered in coach for the Jackson State Lady Tigers, and that is none other than Coach Rose Washington. Rose Washington, welcome to the Open Mic, and how are you today?
I'm doing fine, and thanks for having me.
Well, we're excited to have you and your other comrades be a part of our volleyball show here through the Open Mic Broadcast Network. And before we get any further, we've been giving all the coaches an opportunity to introduce themselves and tell our listeners how you ended up at the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Oh, well, again, my name is Rose Washington, and I'm originally from the Virgin Islands, St. Croix, the Virgin Islands, where I was born and raised until I ventured off across the waters to come to Jackson State University. So I'm actually coaching at my alma mater. After that, I did a little coaching here doing my as a graduate assistantship, and before I moved on to Southern University, where I coached there for 2 years. But back in those days, Title IX was quite an issue, and so the money were not deemed invested into a sport like volleyball at the time for female. It was more pretty much getting started with basketball, especially at HBCUs. So decisions had to be made, and I could no longer work for what they were paying me. It was about pursuing a career in coaching, which is why I took the gamble and ventured off despite the pay. But at some point, reality set in, and I had to make a decision. I had to make a decision, which is when I decided to move to California, where I lived for 18 years and eventually started my own business there, but still stayed involved with coaching. I had a daughter. She was more interested in basketball, but I helped coach her team until we moved back here, and I was quite successful in doing that while she was involved in that sport there. So coaching have always been a part of me. I think in my upcoming, that's what everyone thought I would end up doing, is being involved in some capacity in sports. My high school farewell and good wishes were good luck in your high school career, basketball career or athletic career, because they knew I would do something in sport, having played all sports, basketball, volleyball, ran track, did everything I guess girls on the islands did back in those days. But came around to, full circle and decided to move back to Mississippi. Was kind of tired of the hustle and bustle of California and decided to move back down south. And the opportunity came available. And was hesitant at first because I had been out the business a while. And but was encouraged to decide to go for it. And I did, and sent the application and had my interviews, and I just promised them one thing, that I would do the very best I could for my alma mater, and that's what I wanted to get the opportunity to do. And here we are 15 years later, and this is how I got here. We've won 3 championships. I'm proud to say I brought the first championship to the university, and I'm here doing what I love to do, and I don't call it a job. I call it a hobby, and look forward each year to the next year.
Well, we're talking with Coach Rose Washington, who was able to come back home, if you allow me to say it like that, and bring the first championship to the Jackson State Lady Tigers volleyball program. Now, how gratifying was that for you personally, not only to come back and coach your alma mater, but to bring home a championship, and then 15 years later, what seems to be a project to get your feet wet again, you're still standing strong, waking up with the passion and the love. How is that transitioned over to you when it comes to your recruiting?
Recruiting is I want to call it a monster by itself. Obviously it's good to be in a winning program. We've always, since I've been here, we're able to turn this program around, and it's been on the up ever since, and I'm really glad of that. And, of course, that helps. But I tell you, in these days, I guess like any days, you still have to go strong with recruiting. You still have to convince. You still have to be a salesperson. But you have to have the product, and I believe and have faith in the product that we offer here at Jackson State, not only athletically, but the university itself academically. And so it does help that we're winning. In as far as your question regarding my first and being what it stood for, obviously your first is nothing that ever can be taken away. But for me, again, being an alumni, it is something I guess I'll always be remembered by. So, after the passion that you said that I have and I do have, it's good to know that my imprint will be here at the university where I've got all my knowledge for the most part and got me started, and glad that I will be remembered here, at least in that capacity.
Well, Coach, if you don't mind me adding to that, which was very well put together, when greatness is being achieved, it's not because a person is trying to be great. It's because they're led by passion. They're loving what they're doing, and they're giving all that they have just to excel and be competitive. And competition is a powerful thing that can lead and transcend off the court and into everyday life. And that is a perfect picture of what I'm seeing through you and your program right now.
Yeah, and I take pride in that. Again, just like you said, I won't give it up for anything in the world. Just being a part of these young ladies' lives and touching it for just that short moment, and just being equally proud of the educational process that they go through here at Jackson State. Pretty much all my young ladies graduate with honors. They graduate on time. It's just a process, a totality in what I'm concerned with, because obviously, coming from the Virgin Islands where, back in my days, no one ever got the opportunities young ladies are having now. I make them accountable for that. They must understand, they appreciate what they've been given in terms of a full scholarship, and to take advantage of that to the highest, because just 4 years go by so fast, and what you're doing and is what I tell them, they're molding their lives, not their mom or dad life, but their personal life to go forward, and not to waste the opportunity that they have by just slipping by being average. And so I take pride in the totality of my program, both athletically and academically. Absolutely,
and it's showing, as we stated, on the court and in the graduation floor. Now, let us do a quick transition, if we could. And we know that the competition has done nothing but improve throughout the Southwestern Athletic Conference and the MEAC for that concern. As you said, that Title IX, you were there at its inception, and you've seen the slow process. And for the record, still some room to be made up, but we are moving forward. How do you compare your conference program against a Power 5 conference or another mid-level conference where you are, as where you need to come as a whole, and then where you need to bring your program personally?
Well, let's talk about the Power 5. Obviously, the Power 5 is the Power 5. They get the best players, obviously. And when I say the best, the young ladies that they're able to recruit, not only obviously the first thing that jumps out at anyone is the size. They do have the size factor, but not only that, they have kids that bring that experience, that are playing volleyball for the most part from the time they're 5 or 6 in the churches and in the places where people could afford to pay, and now they even have the personal trainers and the other things to get them where they want to go. It's quite an investment that parents have to make sometimes, but I always tell the people I get the opportunity to speak with that it's a best investment, a small investment for what it could turn out the way that sports is today, and sport is especially for female. In terms of the other level, it's a step at a time. I have confidence that one day that volleyball is really growing, and you have a lot of HBCUs that are now benefiting from, Afro-American girls now playing volleyball as opposed to basketball. They're spreading their versatility out into branching off into volleyball, and it's been a big plus, I know, for all the HBCUs and the other schools for that matter, because the kids have choices. And which brings in the recruiting back again. But it's a lot more to choose from now. The girls are a lot more athletic. There are parents that are invested in understanding, this avenue towards not only getting a good education, but for also fulfilling the passion that their daughters are showing to the sport. So it's helping us, and our conference has grown. Obviously, I've been involved with it for 15 years, and over that time, my gosh, it's really growing, and it's a wonderful thing because we're competing, and every year we get stronger, not only beating up on ourselves, but we're filtering out there. As long as the athletes keep coming and deciding to come our way, we have some great coaches in this conference. We just need to continue to, like I said earlier, it starts with recruiting, to bring the talent and hopefully convince the young ladies that here is just like anywhere else, they can come and get a very competitive rivalry matches day in and day out, and as in the conference, and also against the opponents that we put on our schedule. So it's growing, and I'm just glad to be a part of it, and I'm just proud about the conferences, both the SWAC and the MEAC, to see the talent that's coming in, and also now combining international kids that's willing to come into our conference and even make us better, because that's what everybody else is doing in terms of the other conferences that we are competing against.
Absolutely. We're talking with Coach Rose Washington of the Jackson State Lady Tigers, 15 years at the driver's seat, and it doesn't seem like she wants to slow down just yet. Coach, you're getting ready for your 2017 campaign. One of your good comrades, and what's beauty, a lot of people, you can have rivals and everything else, but there's really a sorority or a sisterhood. I can't say just a sisterhood because you do have some guy coaches, but there's a family-like environment when it comes to your coaches in your conference play or whatnot. So when you start looking toward this 2017 campaign, what are going to be some of the keys for success for the Lady Tigers on that court?
Well, like I said, it starts with recruiting. I think that I'm putting together a class of girls that going to help us to continue to compete against the teams I have to compete against. Obviously, Alabama State is the champ again, and we all will be trying to knock her down. But there are other teams here that we're going to have to – this is going to be a tough conference. I mean, and I love the competition because, that brings out the best in me. And obviously I hope they say your team reflects the coach because we love competition. It's what it's all about, because I think that I know that I'm going to prepare my girls to compete, and just like the other tough, wonderful coaches that we have in this conference. And that's what makes sports exciting. The opportunity to go out there year after year and just, run into something different, because it will be different. Everyone is getting better. The girls, the recruits, like I said earlier, are coming into the conference. And I think that I myself had put together a good team that will compete again this year, and just looking forward to it. The whole gamut of all that's involved in getting to that championship.
Well, we're looking forward to it as well. We're very excited here at the open mic, as we were telling other listeners, and we'll tell the listeners on this segment as well. We're going to be featuring, of course, the coaches calling in on a private line to leave their summaries of their matches for that week. We're going to be interviewing players of the week, and we're just going to make sure that volleyball is a front runner here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, because just as the guys on the football fields and the basketball courts, they're putting in time, but these young ladies work exceptionally hard. The coaches are dedicated, and it's a very exciting game. When this game is played properly, there's nothing more beautiful than to watch a good volley unfold between two competitive teams and two teams that have nothing but desire in their heart and their eyes. And I'm excited and grateful to be a part of this process that we're just calling right now just a volleyball project.
Yeah, and we're equally excited, I know, as coaches. Any sport love the opportunity to get that exposure needed for not only their program, their school, but the conference as a whole. And so we're glad for the opportunity because, getting this exposure nationwide is a wonderful thing. Coaches can't be everywhere. The conference can't be everywhere. But it's good to be able to show other areas of the country that the SWAC, the MEAC, or the MEAC is more in the north and we're more in the south, gives you the opportunity to come to a conference and compete. And after all, I mean, we get to go to the NCAA regionals and stuff. So it's not just isolated. We get the same opportunity. It's just up to us to continue to prepare and hopefully recruit better and better kids to come into a conference and see, give us the experience and show others that, hey, we can play and coach the game of volleyball here just the same, which is what we do. So we're glad for the opportunity. Sport is such a wonderful thing. It's like a getaway from everything that's negative. And you could just sit down and come and, like you said, volleyball is an awesome sport. I always challenge anyone that I talk to about just come to one game and one match, I should say, and I guarantee you that you'll be back. And which is what happened. We carry a packed house. The campus loves it as well as our community, and we love performing for them because that's basically what it is. So I'm just glad for the opportunity, and I look forward to the weekly summaries and just keeping everyone informed, and hopefully when we are around the country, whatever conference, in terms of whatever team in the conference, you come out and take a look at the brand of volleyball that we have to offer.
Absolutely. Coach Rose Washington of the Lady Tigers of Jackson State, we thank you so much. We're excited. We're wishing you the best of luck for this 2017 campaign, and we look forward to developing and growing the relationship between not only Jackson State, the open mic, but Coach Washington and Dr. Prince. I want this all to be a family affair when the dust settles.
And that's fine with me. Looking forward to it.
All right, Coach Washington with the Lady Tigers of Jackson State, thank you again, and we look forward to hearing from you in the very near future. I'm Dr. Mike Prince. Be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.